Traders, boy oh boy, do we have a packed week today. Okay, we have NFP coming out later on this Friday. We have a CPI release from Australia happening tomorrow. We have a Fed meeting. We also have meetings coming in from Canada. Thankfully, today is all about the technicals. Let's roll the intro. All right, guys, what's up? Welcome back to the Top Trader channel. It's your head trader here, Cleveland Bishop. Hope you guys are having a great start to the week so far. The U.S. session just wrapped up. It's about 4:30. All right, and so I want to go over with you guys somewhat of what we saw. And again, the markets weren't too volatile, so there wasn't too many price moves that we missed out on. So, but there's going to be a lot of opportunity. All right, so we'll go over the technicals and see exactly where we are from an infrastructure perspective. Okay, so guys, make sure you are subscribed. All right, we're putting out content every single week, multiple times a week. We're going to try to hit 5 this week, so that's going to be exciting. Last week we put out a video that already hit 4,000 views in 3 days. I got a really great response, and it was all about the easiest Forex strategy to play. Okay, so that video, I'll put the link for that video down in the description below. It did really well. I want you guys to check that out as well. And of course, if you like the content, like the video for your boy, I appreciate it. Okay, so here's a quick screenshot of the dollar index. All right, check this out. You guys will see the dollar index has really broken highs. Okay, this little nod of structure that you see right here, that was nothing more than a Turkish lira event. All right, Turkish lira, they had a ridiculous Q3 where there was a massive amount of price movements based off of certain things happening with the president, a rampant amount of inflation that came into the economy as well. A lot of things was going on, okay? And so that affected European banks because European banks were pretty much, they had a big balance of Turkish lira on their books, okay? And so what a lot of market participants thought was that the euro was going to be affected by the Turkish lira situation, right? So you guys can see, you saw a massive sell side happen on the euro USD, or here if you look at the dollar index is weighted by 50% of the euro. So when you get a move in the euro, you're usually seeing a move in the dollar index. Sometimes I don't like it that much because I want to see how the dollar's doing, not how the euro's doing, okay? But you guys will see that the euro sold off massively, which affected the dollar index, but then we ended up pulling right back down in the structure. Once all the fear pulled out of the market, you see markets ran right back to where they started off, okay? That just shows you how value was perceived up here. Once that's where price ran, once market participants saw that, hey, everything's okay, value was perceived back at the mean of price, and price ran right back to sell side, all right? So there's a lot of lessons to learn in that situation. Okay, so what does that mean for us? We have about 2 months left in Q4. We do have NFP coming out this week. Is this the week that we start breaking this low? I think so, but what's interesting is we did want to see a quick push up in the structure before we saw that sell-off happen on that Thursday, Friday session, okay? So the $14s was a level where I said to myself, hey, if I get a pop at $14, I might be able to ride that up into the $14.50s, maybe into the $15 flat. Okay, so that's something that we are going to be keeping a look at. And also, you guys can just give me your thoughts as well as to what you are expecting to see as well. And we'll talk a little bit more about it and actually look into the charts. And moving on from the dollar, I want to show you guys a picture real quick of this Canadian, the Canadian dollar. Okay, so here's a quick screenshot of the Canadian dollar. You see a massive run in price. What was that? Okay, what happened? Well, that was the Mexican-Canadian United States trade agreement that was actually finally formalized. That brought off a lot of risk that was weighing down the Canadian currency. But what you guys will notice is another 100% retracement. The Canadian dollar soared in value once that trade agreement was recognized. All right, and then randomly we see just a pull right back down into structure. So there's a lot to talk about that as well. Look, we'll move over to the charts and all the other currencies that we want to assess. We'll take a look at them from that standpoint, but I like to give you guys an explanation from a fundamental standpoint, at least, as to why I'm seeing these markets move in certain capacities. And now that Canadian dollar, for instance, is back down on that previous structure, where is it to go? Okay, is the trade risk off the market, meaning that technically we're buying the Canadian dollar at a discount? Let's see what we get. Okay, so guys, look, let's roll over into the charts. If you guys like the content, again, like the video for your boy, I really appreciate it. Make sure you guys are subbed. Let's pull over into the charts and let's see what we got. Let's see if there's any kind of opportunity that we may catch this week. And as always, if you guys want a little bit more in-depth information, click the link in the bio and join the Top Trader community. Okay, but until then, here, let's take a look at the charts. All right, guys, so earlier when I was talking about how this week is so packed, I want to show you guys what I was talking about here, right? So here, October 28th to the November 3rd, you guys can see Monday, not so hot, but Tuesday we got consumer confidence, we have a BLC speaking engagement, we have CPI coming out for the Australian dollar, we have a BOJ policy rate All right, so they're deciding interest rates for the Bank of Japan. I mean, everyone knows that they're going to keep it the same. And then moving over to Wednesday, you guys can see that we have even more rate statements. Canada, GDP, a lot going on there, right? Moving over to Thursday, we have an immense amount of GDP news. They have a rate statement. And then on Friday, we have NFP for the dollar. Okay, so when you have a packed week like the one we have today, well, this week, it's really important for you guys to rationalize exactly where these currency pairs are standing currently. Okay, this is the most important thing. This is what I drill into all of our members. Guys, we need to know which currency is getting stronger. We need to know the positioning of the currency that's getting weaker. We have to have an idea as their current structure, all right? And so the dollar index can give you that, but if you don't have access to the dollar index, and maybe you trade on TD Ameritrade, for instance, here with the switch gadget, I can show you guys. There's a cool little currency heat map type deal thing here. I'll pop it out so you guys can see it, and it just relays back over to you which currency is getting stronger and which currency is getting weaker. Okay, and I'm actually developing something really cool that gives a better visual representation than even this here. Okay, but you guys can see that the dollar today was quite strong against all these other pairs here, right? So the Canadian dollar performed bad against the dollar, pound, euro, Norwegian krone, right? Everything, CHF, JPY, Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar, everything performed bad relative to the dollar. Okay, and so you guys can see right here against USD, and you can change this. All right, it's really handy. So this is what you have if you have TOS. If you don't have TOS, then the best you can do is cross-currency correlations. All right, so let me pull this up here, exotics versus minors. And folks, this is, again, one of the most underlooked things that most traders do. No technical trader does this. They all just isolate the currency pair. The Euro USD is this, but the EURJPY is this, when at the end of the day, both of the underlying currency is the euro. Okay, we have to rationalize what each economy is doing. There's something called counterparty risk. All right, you may have a buy idea for the Euro USD, but you need to rationalize, okay, are you buying because of euro strength or US dollar weakness? Because if you get US dollar strength and you're not looking out at what's happening from a fundamental perspective, then boom, you're going to get caught in that move. Okay, so cross-currency correlations help you do that as well if you don't have access. And you can do cross-currency correlations on any charting platform. It's just you literally have to extrapolate all the currencies out. So you guys can see up here I have the euro, pound, euro Swiss, EURJPY, euro CAD, euro NZD, right? And so you can set all of these up to whatever time frame you like. So that way you can see, okay, what currency is doing what, all right? And I think most of these are set to the daily time frame. Let's see here. Yeah, so here's the daily. Uh-oh, that one was the 4 hour. But that was the next chart anyway. So that's our pound crosses. I'll show you guys that in a second. So all these top charts here are the daily. And you guys can see exactly what is happening here in regards to the euro. What are you guys noticing here? Sell-off, a little bit of a sell-off, a little bit of a sell-off. Euro CHF kind of ticking to the upside. It was a consolidated for a little bit, but originally pretty massive sell-off. Euro pound sell-off. Folks, the euro was not performing so hot across the board, okay, across the board, right? And so we can do the same thing here with this, the Euro AUD. You guys can see the Euro AUD. Obviously, the Aussie has been doing a very horrible time because if we see that the euro is getting weaker and we see that the Euro AUD is going to the upside as if the euro is getting stronger, that means the Aussie is getting tremendously weak, okay? You guys can even see here Aussie CHF sell side, Aussie JPY sell side, Aussie CAD absolute sell side, and then Aussie NZD choppy. Why? Well, these two are the biggest trading partners. NZD treks the Australian dollar almost to like an 85 to 90% correlation, okay? So again, this is the best you have until I come out with what I want to present you guys maybe in the next few weeks or so. Is going to be absolutely revolutionary to be able to track exactly how one single currency is performing. So make sure you guys stick around. You guys can hop inside of the community. That's who's going to have first access to it, okay? So anyway, this is the best you got. And then you can kind of look and see exactly if there is any kind of structure that you like. By the way, I have CHF crosses down, right? See, JPY crosses down, CAD crosses down, NZD crosses down. So I literally get to see exactly how each currency is performing relative to another and all the way across the board as well. Okay, so I do see opportunity. You know, I saw some opportunity. We are looking right now inside of our community for a Euro USD buy up into structure. That does look pretty interesting. I do believe that the euro has a little bit of an up move that should be in its future. It's been hit really hard, and I think a lot of the negative implications of what's happening with the euro is somewhat being priced in a bit. Okay, so now our job is to find a currency that represents euro strength, well. Okay, so here we got the EURJPY, pretty massive sell side. We have to make sure that the JPY doesn't gain too much more strength. And I want to take a look at it from a weekly perspective, right? So here's the weekly. We can see markets sitting right down here at this consolidated level, 128, 127s, really a 128 lows. All right, can markets stay and consolidate at this price point? All right, I mean, so if we extrapolate it out, again, you guys can see that there is some type of structure there. We did dip a low, and that is a little bit frustrating, meaning that we may have some price availability down into these structures. It's not the cleanest structure, which means you do need to be a little bit careful. But other than that, it does look okay. If I pull it all the way back out, you guys can see where we are from a longer time frame. Let's see exactly where we are from a retracement perspective from this low. This is a 2016 low. We're hitting right around this 38.2. So it's starting to make a little bit more sense. And when you're looking at it, you're kind of saying to yourself, oh boy, we might be able to run down to this 50. So is it really time to buy this EURJPY? This JPY seems like it has a little bit more strength possible in its down move. Now, yes, this EURJPY sell-off was accelerated by some of the euro weakness. Okay, so you are seeing a little bit of euro weakness in this 5-week sell-off here. Okay, but at the end of the day, still, there definitely is mostly Europe, Japanese strength. So we can keep an eye here on the EURJPY. Maybe there's not a move yet. We'll see how markets consolidate around this price level. Again, we're looking at it from a pretty far out perspective. That's on a weekly, right? So there's no type of real intraday situation that I'm currently monitoring. I would have to see markets consolidate a little bit more in this price area before I start looking at some intraday pushes back up into structure. You guys know I'm a contrarian, all right? I love taking moves and pulling them back up into consolidation, especially when I have a decent structure on a weekly time frame, and then especially if I'm getting consolidation on an intraday or on a daily time frame. Okay, so that is what I'm going to be looking at. We can continue along. And there's so many charts you can stare at, right? We know that Canadian dollar has been doing okay. This is that trade agreement right here, folks. All right, the sell back down in the structure. You can see markets did recover a bit. Now that recovery was somewhat stifled by European weakness, okay? Because if the euro wasn't getting weaker, we would have saw this move fully recover like it did on most of the other pairs. But now we're back down in the structure. This actually looks good to me because remember, if I'm looking for European weakness, European strength, then I kind of like this. I'm a fan of this current consolidation. I do like how markets are currently sitting right at this price point here. Okay, so potentially if we get a little bit more consolidation, I think we can get a nice momentous move out back up into this price area, especially if some of this CAD data that's coming out this week, is somewhat a little negative. We know that Canada has had some problems with inflation, and there has been a scare when it comes to retail sales and GDP because of the trade war. So if we see some more negative readings in that regard, then maybe we'll start to see Canada get a little bit weaker, which will give us a decent sized up move here on this Euro CAD. Okay, so we do have a webinar on Tuesday night in the community. We're actually going to be going over really everything that we see when it comes to actual profit potential. Right now, this is really one of the best situations, I think, honestly, this Euro CAD. Maybe seeing that break up into structure on that Euro USD, and maybe also assessing that EURJPY from a longer term perspective. I think those are probably my top 3 situations that I'm monitoring this week so far, right? Markets can consolidate and different structures can form. It's only it's only Monday after the US session, so there's still some opportunity at hand, okay? Here, you guys can take a look at the pound CAD as well. This is something that we were monitoring. Another situation where you see markets at a really nice consolidated low, might get that push up into structure. So let's monitor the Canadian dollar for weakness. I think it's prime and ready, to be honest, for some nice pullbacks up into structure if that Canadian dollar doesn't have a positive week. So let's keep an eye on that, and if it does, well then, the trade invalidates. Hopefully we don't get triggered in and lose some money, but if not, hey, it might be a good situation to take some of these markets back up into structure, whether you want to play that on the pound CAD or whether you want to play that on the Euro CAD. Okay, so guys, let's take a look at what's going on in markets on Tuesday. If you're in the community, I'm excited for that. If you're not, click the link in the bio. I'll see you guys over there. We'll be pushing out awesome trader tips That'll be coming out tomorrow, so I want you guys to get ready for that. And of course, if you guys ever need anything, let me know. Let me know what you're also looking at in the comment section below. Okay, I'm excited to see it. Okay, so guys, let's see what we get this week. I'm excited. Talk to you guys soon. Peace.